Good afternoon and evening, everyone. This is Jake from Over the Line Radio. This is a special presentation, a little celebration with the Jake Meister today. Today, I achieved, or this weekend, I achieved 90% kill rate when it comes to eliminating spam from my mail server. What you're looking at right now and the funky little numbers and the stuff that you see on your screen here, let me explain real quick. The numbers that are counting up or will be counting up under our DNS lookup, those are actually mail messages that are coming in through my mail server. They come in, they get compared to a reverse DNS lookup, which is just a directory of known servers that are exploited or used by spammers. So where the spam message originated from gets compared off and says, haha, you came from this server, and boom, without even looking at what the content of the email is, bam, it's killed. So far we have 8 of 8 just destroyed. The second layer of filtering was the XBL, which is real similar to the RDNS lookups, but sometimes one makes one list and one makes the other, just how they put the lists together and who manages them. If it passes the XBL list, then it goes to the Bayesian scanner, or the Bayes scanner. In addition to these 3 scanners that you see here, I have an additional 4 that are kind of invisible. So sometimes you'll see like a message go through the first one, go through the second one, and then disappear. That's probably because the 4th or 5th or 6th or 7th filter picked it up and killed it at the same time. So mail messages just might disappear. So if you see something go RDNS and an XBL and then Bayesian and say 4 or 5 messages get through total, those messages, you can't really assume that they made it to someone's email box because they still have to go through 4 other filters. So we might even be getting higher than a 90% kill rate. But just on average over this weekend, in fact, I'm going to be queuing up a video here real quick as to what yesterday's looked like after 22 hours of running. I believe there were 5,000 messages or something that came through. And you'll see that as it counts up. And if you take the numbers and you add zeros to them, the ratios of spam versus good mail really doesn't change. It's about 90%. So when you hear the statistic that 90% of all spam or all email is usually illegitimate or spam, they're pretty darned accurate. The closer that we get to actually 90%, because it's tolerable. Honestly, if I just get 10 messages a day with spam, I'd be completely happy. But if I get inundated with 100 email messages a day, then email loses its usefulness, and I would walk away from email in a second if that were the case. Just as a comparison, and why it's such a big problem, just imagine if you headed to the mall or you went to the grocery store, and when you came out to your car was covered in flyers. Just everywhere that you could stick a flyer, it was just there. Now, that would be pretty annoying, and you would probably bitch to just about everybody that you could bitch to get it changed, to have someone stop it, whatever. But since it doesn't happen in great numbers, nobody really says anything when flyers get hung on your, you get one flyer underneath your windshield at an amusement park, and you don't say anything. You don't bitch at anybody. You don't even raise it. Same thing when they come down your road, and they put flyers behind your mailbox, or they put them on your porch or in your door. Now, that's cool if just one shows up every couple of weeks, but it's still the same as spam. The only thing is, spam happens a couple million times more per day than these flyers. But it's every bit is equal. That's the same thing happening. It's only when it happens in huge numbers that we get upset and we're willing to actually do something about it. But me, I don't need a reason to do something about it. I hate it enough to spend some free time of mine putting strategies together to kill this. And it's going to be a never-ending thing. Once I figure something out, they're going to figure something out. It's going to be a long battle, and I'm in it for the long haul. I hate them that much. But let me give you some tips here. If you do struggle with spam, and you don't have a provider that you can work with, there's some things that you could not do to stop yourself from falling victim to getting on lots and lots of spam lists. Number 1, most important, keep your email address to yourself. If you sign up on for a shopping cart or a message board or whatever, have an email address that's throwaway. Go sign up for a Yahoo account or something like that that's free, and use that account for all the public usage. People you don't necessarily know, the New York Times or whatever newsletter that you got, use that email address. If you have a good relationship with your mail provider, they can create an alias for your email account. Let's just say your name's John and you're at whatever. They can create a public John at whatever and use that as an alias for your John at whatever. So when you go to a mail or you go to a message board or whatever, you put in the email address public John at whatever to sign up or register or place your order, and then that way they have your public edition. Now, if one day you find yourself getting a lot of spam through the public end, and these aliases, what they do is when somebody sends public John, it ends up in the John email box. It's kind of invisible to you, besides on the sender's end, they have to address it there. But anyway, so a lot of providers will create this alias for you, and then you use that one publicly, and when it gets too much spam, then you kill it, and you open a new alias, and you never really have to junk your main email account. So that's number one, using the alias for all public stuff. Number two, when you post on a message board or anything that's in a public forum, whether it be a profile, a message board, wherever, anywhere that's going to be on a web page, don't put your email account. Use a web form if you have to, but never put your email account. Spammers use spiders that crawl the internet, and they harvest web or email addresses from websites. So let's just say you're on a stock, a finance and stock and bond website, and in your profile you have your email address. Well, these spiders will eventually make to every link. So if you post, it follows the link to your post, then in your post it has your profile, they follow it to your profile, and there's your email address, and you get added to this list, and it harvests you. So if you're going to post your email address, which is an extremely bad idea, use that public deal that we talked about before. That's the best way to avoid getting your good email address harvested. Now, even if you start using aliases or you use a junk email account, that does not mean that you're not ever going to be listed on someone's spam list. Let's just say that you and I send mail to one another, and your reply email address, I know you, and I'm not going to send you spam, but your email address is in my computer. I have emails from you in my computer, and my computer gets hit with a virus. And this virus comes in and harvests all of the mail and all of the email addresses that I have in my computer. So you may have never opened the virus, you have never done anything wrong, but because you sent me email and because I got infected, your email address gets sent out to somebody and you get on a list eventually. Now, that scenario happens not very frequently. So worrying-wise, you probably, if you keep it pretty safe and you don't put it on public forums, you'll probably stay pretty spam-free for the most part. Hit or miss every once in a while, you'll get a spam message because of the scenario I just described, but not as often, not as plentiful as if you put it out there in public. So that's number one. And number two, of keeping your email address nice, safe, and secure. And the third one, don't opt out. If you get an email address from someplace and it says, click here to unsubscribe or click here to opt out, don't do it. The theory is the people that are legitimate, that will actually take you off the list, they're going to do it. But they're not going to send you spam in the first place. It's going to be a place that you've done business with, and you've given them the entitlement to send you marketing email. The spammers will put that on there to verify that your email address is good. So when you opt out, you're basically saying, hey, this email address made it to my email box. Make sure you put me about 100 more times on all of your lists. Number three. I'm sorry, that was number three. Number four, your email provider, we'll say AOL, Hotmail, Yahoo, those people are going to get hit more often than smaller providers. If I wanted to get a whole bunch of spam out, I would go query an AOL mail server before I would go and hit, mom and pop mail server, because I'm going to get far more email addresses responses from an AOL mail server than I would in a mom and pop. So those four things, keep them in mind, protect yourself, stay off the list, and die, spammers, die. If you have a chance, kick them in the nuts, do it. Everybody have a good day. I hope you appreciate this. I'm going to do another spam one here shortly because I really love this topic, and I hope you love it as well. Peace.